They laughed at him the moment he walked into the conference room. His boots were worn, his jacket was patched, and his hands were rough from years of hard labor. A dozen sharp-dressed executives sat around a glossy mahogany table, their polished watches and custom suits shining under the chandelier lights. He didn't look like he belonged there. To them, he was just another broke veteran, a single dad trying to scrap his way through life, someone far beneath their league. But what they didn't know, what not even the CEO at the head of the table suspected, was that this man had once commanded not just soldiers on a battlefield, but strategies so complex they made generals weep. He wasn't just a soldier, he was a master tactician. And today, as they mocked him, calling him the janitor dad and the charity case, they were about to see a side of him that none of them could ever forget. Michael Carter had lived many lives. In his 20s, he was a decorated Army veteran, serving as a strategist in some of the most brutal campaigns overseas. In his 30s, he became a husband and father, only to lose his wife to a cruel illness that hollowed him from the inside out. Now, in his 40s, he was a single dad, raising his teenage daughter Emily on his own. He worked multiple jobs, cleaning offices at night, fixing cars on weekends, doing whatever he could just to make sure Emily had food on the table and a shot at a future. But Michael carried one secret talent, something he never bragged about. He was a master at chess. Not the casual kind played in parks, but the kind where one miscalculated move could decide the fate of nations. During the war, his superiors used to joke that Michael didn't see a battlefield, he saw a chessboard. And every time, his vision saved lives. So how did a man like him end up here, in the towering headquarters of a billion-dollar corporation, with a room full of smug executives waiting to laugh him out of the building? It began with Emily. Emily had always loved chess. Her mother had taught her the basics before she passed away, and Michael carried the tradition forward, spending nights teaching her strategies after dinner. It became their bond, their escape from the harshness of the world. When Emily entered a local chess tournament, Michael watched from the sidelines with pride. She was fearless, sharp, and brilliant for her age. But in the finals, Emily faced the son of the company's shot, a cocky, arrogant boy who had never lost a match. The boy's entourage jeered at Emily, mocking her for being the daughter of a janitor. When she lost narrowly, the CEO himself had the audacity to smirk and say, "Talent isn't inherited from janitors." That humiliation cut Michael deeper than anything he'd faced on the battlefield. Not for himself but for Emily. He saw the tears in her eyes, the way she tried to hide her trembling hands, and he made a silent vow that no one would ever look down on her again. When the CEO's company announced a charity gala with a chess exhibition where the prize wasn't money, but the chance to prove one's skill before the city's elite, Michael signed up. Not for fame, not for recognition, but to teach his daughter that a man's worth isn't measured by suits or titles, but by the strength of his spirit. The room erupted in laughter when Michael's name was called. He sat down at the board opposite the CEO's son, who sneered with confidence. "This will be quick," the boy said loudly, drawing chuckles from the executives. The CEO folded his arms, already amused, and Emily, standing quietly in the back, prayed silently for her dad. The first moves were ordinary. Michael played calmly, his weathered hand steady as stone. But soon, the atmosphere shifted. His pawns advanced like disciplined soldiers, his knights slept with precision, his bishops cut diagonals like snipers. Every move was calculated, layered with traps invisible to the untrained eye. The boy across from him grew restless, beads of sweat forming on his forehead. The laughter in the room quieted. The executives leaned in. The CEO's smirk faded. Michael wasn't just playing chess. He was reliving the battlefield. Each piece represented the men he once led, the lives he once protected. He remembered ambushes in the desert, rescue missions in the jungle, nights where a single misstep meant death. Here, on this board, he poured all those years of strategy, patience, and sacrifice. He was no janitor today. He was the master tactician they could never hope to understand. Within 30 moves, the CEO's son was cornered. His queen was trapped, his king exposed, and his arrogance shattered. Michael leaned forward, his voice calm but commanding, and whispered, "Checkmate." Silence. The room was stunned. The boy pushed away from the table, Face red with humiliation, the CEO stood slowly, his eyes locked on